What's up, guys? Hi, and welcome to today's workout. This was supposed to be performed on Friday, but I was pretty destroyed. I've had like a 45 to 50 hour work week. Not sure exactly at this point, probably around 46 maybe. Actually not that bad, to be honest. Obviously the week continues here. It's Saturday now, we'll work a few hours Sunday as well. But the point is, I was a bit tired yesterday, so I went to bed at a reasonable time instead of training, and now I just hit a bench PR. So I don't think I've ever done 100 kilo for 5 reps. So I'm really, really happy with this. I think that this is the set right here. Let's see with that 5th rep right here. I was really close to giving up, but I just said, fuck it. I'm just going to go and go until I just completely fail or until I get it. I did, and I got it. So really good work is being put in here. Once I do 6 reps on that first set, I will be able to do probably a 120 kilo bench press. I've heard different things from commenters on this channel, but I think I know my body pretty well, and I usually am pretty strong in a 1 rep max compared to reps. I do believe that I will be hitting 120 for 1 after doing 100 times 6. And in the worst case scenario, I will fail that, but be able to do 117.5. And if I do get 7 reps on the 100 kilo bench, I absolutely believe that I'll be able to hit 120 for 1, which is the current goal. The current goal is to break the plateau. So 115 is my previous record. Hitting 117.5 would absolutely qualify as breaking the record. But really, I want to hit 120 because it's a big round psychological number. It looks good on the bar as well. Got 2 20s and 2 10s on either side. It's also not quite 275. It's probably around 260 or something. But it's a serious number in, by American standards as well. And it's halfway to 140 from 100. Not progress-wise, of course, getting from 120 to 140 is much harder than getting from 100 to 120, which unfortunately has taken me many years. But I do believe that for me, I will absolutely be able to get 120, and I just can't really see that 140 would be outside my potential. I just have a really tough time believing that. I don't really accept that as a reality. I just think that I'm not focused enough. Maybe I will never bench 180, but benching 140 is very realistic. I think most people can do that. And I don't really understand why I haven't done it. So, I'm just going to push it. Of course, I won't hit it in this bulk probably, and by the way, I'm not bulking, so I really shouldn't say that. But I won't hit it this phase. Right now, I'm more focused on breaking the current plateaus, not going as far as I possibly can necessarily, because I really want to cut after this and hit the 1-arm chin-up. However, I will be maintaining body weight / gaining weight, just basically eating whatever I want now for maybe 2 more months, pretty much. Probably a little bit into the start of school, and somewhere around September or October, I will probably do a little bit of a cut if my chin-ups are strong enough at that point to where I feel like dropping a few kilos of fat will unlock the 1-arm chin-up for me. The 1-arm chin-up is a goal that I've had since I was 14, and I thought I would achieve it, before I turned 15. Unfortunately, it has taken me very, very long, and every time I've gotten close to the 1-arm chin-up, I just either had some form of shoulder problems because it's very stressful on your shoulder joint, or I just simply didn't want to cut anymore. So I would bulk, I would get stronger, and the next time I cut, I would be very close again, but a few kilos of muscle heavier, and the cycle repeats. Training your legs, training your chest, all this will not help you on the 1-arm chin-up. It will just make you heavier. And the problem is that every kilo you gain is basically making the lift 2 kilos harder if it were a regular chin-up, if that makes sense. Not quite, because the leverages are better pulling with 1 arm than 2. It's a lot easier to do a 1-arm chin-up than to do a body weight weighted chin-up, if that makes sense. Let's say you weigh 80, and if you do a 80 kilo weighted chin-up, a one-arm chin-up will be very easy for you. However, if you can do a one-arm chin-up barely and you weigh 80, you could probably only do, let's say, around 60 to 65 kilos on a weighted chin-up. Yeah, I think that math is correct. And the reason is that the leverage advantage is crazy when you're pulling with one arm. You can pull with your chest, you can kind of twist your body into it. You can also have your hand very close to your body and not further out and to the side. So pulling with one arm is mechanically advantaged, but that doesn't take away from the fact that it's a pretty extreme amount of weight on one arm. You know, me weighing 84 right now, I could probably only pull up around 78 to 79 with one arm, which means not only do I need to get a little bit stronger, but I also need to cut to be able to do this. So that is the plan a bit later down the line, but I'm not particularly fond of the idea of just hopping off this, strength gaining phase here and just start cutting, because, I have serious work to do here. My work cut out for me. I really want to get past my previous records, and the way I'm currently doing it is I'm not bulking, which means I'm gaining muscle and losing fat at the same time, or at least maintaining fat and gaining muscle, which means, every kilo of muscle I gain, which I might only gain 1 more kilo of muscle during this phase, if I'm lucky. But the fact is, if I gain a single kilo of muscle, my physique will change very dramatically. And the reason is, once you get to a certain level here, and once you're pretty lean, every kilo is going to make a significant difference. And, a kilo of meat, if you put it out on a table, it's not a huge amount. And if you spread it over an entire body, you might barely notice it. But to me, I will definitely be able to notice if, let's just say, my arm measurement goes up by 0.5 centimeter, 1 centimeter. That's enough for me to be able to see in the mirror, yeah, my arms have gotten bigger. And for me, that is an amazing feeling. And I really want to get bigger everywhere. I don't really want to not get bigger anywhere, if that makes sense. The only thing I just kind of want to stay within control of is my body fat. I don't really want my face to get too fat, and I don't want my abs to get too fat. So I'm definitely not going to be bulking to achieve these goals, unless I realize that it would really help. And at this point, I'm literally making strength progress without bulking. So I will continue doing this. And, if I gain a few kilos, that's completely fine. Window just blows shut. But I won't be gaining 10 kilos of body weight to gain 1 or 2 kilos of muscle, which I have done previously, and it does work. It definitely works. But, the absolute vast majority of weight gained on the bulk at this point for me is going to be fat, and it can absolutely be worth it. But right now, I'm not at that point in my life where I feel like it's worth, the adverse health consequences of getting fatter. Previously, I've had serious problems with acid reflux, which has partially destroyed my teeth and my enamel from bulking, and that's only bulking to 89 kilos. Right now, I'm 84. So I'm a naturally skinny person who's trained for the last 7 or 8 years or something. So I'm not skinny anymore, but I do have those tendencies of when I start getting too fat, my body really doesn't want to stay there. And I'm not going to force it to do that. I feel like where I am right now in terms of body fat, my body isn't scared of putting on muscle. It's not a starvation risk at all, so to say. So I don't really feel like I need the extra calories to gain that muscle. I don't think that is the problem. And that's where the root cause of my lack of gains comes from. I think the root cause is I haven't been that focused, for this year. However, the last 2 months or so, I have been focused, which is why I've finally been able to start making progress. I've just been so seriously stuck that it was pretty silly. And my realization that I've come to is the simple fact that getting back to where I was is actually going to be a serious challenge. People talk about muscle memory, but for me, it hasn't really been the case. The muscle memory obviously is real and it definitely works. But in my case, I was pretty maxed out where I was. I was really trying my best. I was definitely, taking the extra laps and doing every little extra thing to get as strong as possible. I wasn't skipping workouts. I was really torturing my body, and I was taking care of my sleep. I was doing everything, bro. So to get back to where I was is proving to be a lot more difficult than I had planned. But at the same time, I don't think I will need to get so extreme to go past my previous records, if that makes sense. I don't really think that this slow rate of progress will automatically stop and never continue again once I get back to my old strength numbers. I just simply think it will slow even more, but I will probably be able to push past my bests. Also because when you're motivated and you're already there, let's say I bench 117.5 and it took me a whole nother month from where I'm at right now, that is going to motivate me so much that gaining the next 5 kilos on the bench, even if it takes me 2 months of work, I'm going to put in that work, which means it's going to get done, if that makes sense. So even if the next phase here is very slow, very arduous, and I put in a pretty silly amount of work compared to the very small result, I will do it anyway, because I really want that small result. I really want to get past this place that I've been stuck in for so long. And the thing is, I know that 5 to 10 kilos on the bench has a serious impact on my physique, because every single time I gain 5 to 10 kilos of bench pressing strength, along with all the other upper body muscle that I usually gain when I'm in that type of phase where I get stronger like that, every 10 kilos of bench press muscle, every 10 kilos of bench press gains provides me with a visible amount of muscle gain. And to me, that is extremely motivating. And I also feel that my life changes a little bit in terms of performance. Every single time, my squat goes up from 130 to 140, 140 to 150, 150 to 160. I just keep feeling that, my legs, I just feel stronger. I'm able to lift heavier things. I'm able to sprint very, very hard. I'm able to take big drops and big jumps. I'm able to actually absorb a lot of force with my legs and do athletic things. The stronger I get, I'm getting significantly heavier, and I'm pretty tall as well, but I'm literally maintaining athleticism while getting heavier, which, in my opinion, being able to do a bunch of backflips and stuff on flat ground and, front flips on flat ground, handstand walks and all these pretty basic athletic movements, maintaining those from like 50, 60 kilos body weight all the way up now to 84, that is, in my opinion, a win, athletically speaking, because launching 84 kilos through the air is a lot more impressive than launching 65 kilos through the air, which is what I weighed at 14. So progress is being made. I'm really happy that it is being made, and I deserve it at this point because the work is being put in. I just need to stay on the course, as I've continued to say, because this phase has truly been mentally challenging. And the reason it's mentally challenging is I have all the memories of me putting in 12 weeks of work, gaining 30 kilos on my squat. I've done that twice in my life. The 2 phases where I gained the most muscle of all time, this was, I'm not sure at what age, maybe 15, 16, somewhere around that age probably, I gained the most I've ever done. And, that's reasonable. But at this point, I'm going to have to put in months of work to put 5, 10 kilos on my bench. And, that is months of serious work. I'm not going to be doing that every year even. So at this point, I just need to understand that I'm getting more advanced and that the progress will be slow. And despite that, work through it. Because luckily, the impressiveness of a lift is also exponential. Benching 100 is a little bit impressive. Benching 150 is very impressive, and benching 200 is extremely impressive. And these are all 50 kilo jumps, if that makes sense. But every 50 kilo jump, even every 10 kilo jump on the bench press, makes it maybe 10 times as unlikely to, that someone can actually do it. Let's say, I'm just going to completely make up a number, but let's say 300 people in my town can bench press 100. And, how many people can bench 150? I don't know, maybe like 30, 50 people max. How many people can bench 200? Probably less than 10. The point is, these results are fractional in the way that every little bit of progress I make is going to make me closer and closer to being advanced and closer to being elite. Even though these jumps are small, getting from 115 to 125 on the bench, just 10 kilos from here, is really going to change my physique, make it much further out on the standard deviation curve, and make my strength a lot more impressive, even though it's only 10 more kilos, and that's definitely achievable, even though it will be slow. However, going from a 70 kilo to an 80 kilo bench isn't going to change your life as much, in my opinion, because you're just going from slightly better than average to a little bit more than that, better than average, if that makes sense. A lot of people can still hit that, but once you get significantly past 100 kilos on the bench, once you get past 140, people start dropping off. Most people going to the gym will never hit 140 on the bench. Even if a lot of them could, they won't. And going past that long term is definitely something I'm looking at. And the first step is these next 5 kilos on the bench and that next rep, going from 5 to 6 reps on the 100 kilo bench press. Goodbye.